Hello everybody, I'm just here and welcome back to Yofukashi no Uta, Call of the Night, episode 9, is it? Episode 9, indeed, that will mark 3 quarters of the way through this season, and I hope against all hope that we're gonna get the second one. But before we talk about what's in the future, and I hope the future is bright. Let's maybe talk a little bit about the past. The past being the previous episode, in which what exactly happened? I guess Ko found a consultant when it comes to all matters love, and that consultant was the Gyaru vampire. Ko went to her for counsel, and she gave him all the list of things that you should do to go on a date and to make someone fall in love with you, which coincidentally included all the things that Nazuna doesn't particularly care for. Uh, up to the point of just outright not enjoying them and outright hating them, like watching a rom-com. That's not something that Nazuna would like very, very much. On the contrary, one of the points on Ko's list, though, that Nazuna did enjoy was, of course, feeding, or should I say, eating a meal by the moonlight, which is something that she does at least every night, so nothing particularly different from what they usually do. But Nazuna said as much, right? Going on a date, like hanging around, having fun. How does that differ from what we do all the time? We meet every night, we have some fun. Isn't that a date already? Do you really have to try so hard to make it a date? Well, he has to. That's the problem. He has to, because there's a time limit to his subscription to life, and that subscription will expire should he not fall in love with Nazuna under a year, because I'm assuming the time he has left is like, I don't know, 11 months by now, something around that. I'm assuming at least 4 weeks have gone by, maybe less. So yeah, he has to learn to love and he has to fall in love. We also met a new character, this blonde dude who's apparently Ko's friend, or at least Akira's friend, and at least he himself believes himself to be Ko's friend. So that's cool that we have another character. What's interesting is that he also hangs around at night with various people and also with a girl. With a girl of dubious background, of dubious quality, so to speak, because she very much took Nazuna's attention for some reason, which makes me believe that the girl he's hanging around with is either a vampire or perhaps some other supernatural being, perhaps a succubus, perhaps a werewolf, perhaps something or other, because otherwise, why would Nazuna pay her any mind, right? And why would that prompt her to hand-holding with Kou? That's something that also happened, right? She saw them holding hands and going around, and she pulled her hand out. Don't you want to handhold a little Kou? And they did handhold, and they did walk into the night. Yeah, that about sums up the previous episode. I'm assuming in today's episode we're gonna learn about this mysterious girl, or maybe not. It might be something that's left for unspecified future. We'll see. We might meet the Gyaru vampire again and ask her for more advice, or we might meet other vampires. It could end up being kind of an episodic thing where every episode we meet. By we, I mean Kou meets another vampire and gets different advice on how to approach Nazuna. Although that would be very simple, wouldn't it? And Call of the Night doesn't do simple. We're not gonna get into into this very neat little repeatable scheme of pattern of every episode meeting up with another vampire. That's not Call of the Night. So I'm assuming we're gonna do something else. What's it gonna be? My clue is as big as yours, which means no, it's probably even less because I'm recording this episode like the day after, 2 days after actually. Call of the Night came out, so you have probably seen it. I haven't, so I have even less of a clue than you do. And to have that clue, you're gonna need your subs, of course, and I'm gonna need my sound to hear the awesome music by Creepy Nuts. And of course, I'm also gonna have to ask you for your support. Please support the channel monetarily on Patreon or Throne, or non-monetarily, completely for free, by sharing my content, spreading the word. It really does help a lot the growth of a channel. And with the shilling out of the way, we can start watching episode 9. After I make sure it is indeed episode 9. Episode 9 of Yofukashi no Call of the Night in 3, 2, 1, go. Sure, I guess. So it is gonna be the return of the Gyaru. I don't mind it whatsoever. I just noticed the lyrics match almost perfectly to what's going on screen. Falling towards the sky, waking up, just one more bite. Yeah, all of that matches perfectly. Yeah, falling down a skyscraper. Exactly. Okay. Who's that? Calling her. Ah, gotcha. So she only wanted one night stand essentially, but now he's got all attached and bothering her. Hello, Cole. Target acquired. Oh, Nazuna. Hello. I fully expected a glump, but I guess we didn't get one. No. Of course. Gotcha. Understandable. They're friends, aren't they? Okay, so now we're gonna be hanging around with two vampires. Hmm. I think there's something more to that. I think Kou is slowly but surely assembling a vampire harem. Of course you were. Obviously. No? Okay. Okay, Kou is really good at reading people, isn't he? What's that? Someone cares about me, even if just a little bit? I guess popularity can get bothersome. I guess. The shading changed though. Yeah, I mean, that is an option. She's lucky to have that as an option. Also, no panty shot. Surprising. He's playing on his Switch, leave him alone. Okay, so he's just like me. I've absolutely no fucking clue what's popular right now when it comes to songs. It's totally like me, for real, for real. We didn't get to hear him sing. Okay, so he likes the classics. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah. Like, shit, I listen to opera sometimes. It's super old, and it's also good. Whomst? An ex-stalker? No, it's an ex. Yeah, it's an ex. Oh, suddenly horror vibes. Call the staff? Yeah, I guess so. Because he's not an issue. As she says, worst comes to worst, she can just kill him. Drago, okay. That's a new word for my vocabulary. Okay, that works. Watch him kick the door in. I can fix her. Or at least I can help her. Again, no panty shot. Oh, colors. Creepy colors. She's not wrong. You're not wrong either. She's not wrong. Ah, okay. And he's in. Does he have a knife or a box cutter or something? Yeah, definitely. Why the color change though? Like usually, I would think it's to mask out censor the blood, but no blood has been spilled. A friend, an acquaintance. I'm her stalker. If you didn't figure that out yet, she thinks of you nothing, my dude. Why are you grabbing your throat, Cole? Oh, like masking his bites or just touching his bites? Probably, maybe. I don't know. One thing for sure, this series is getting creepier and creepier by the episode, and I love it. Ah, she picked up the glasses. And that's a love at first sight. What does that have to do with blindness? Like, yeah, sure, dopamine is also why people take drugs to get the dopamine rush, but. Ah, blinded by the love. Gotcha. So, right from the get go, he had an obsessive personality, essentially. Is Kou recording? Or what's he doing with the watch? Yeah, very near the bottom. Like a drug addict. It's like a drug addiction, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, indeed. Hello. Okay, I guess that's not off the table yet. She means what she means, yeah. Nazuna? She's a vampire, desire darker than black. Yeah, that's the mechanism. Hello, Nazuna. Nazuna ex machina. Of course, she was stalking Kou. Oh, she never killed before. Some genuine affection or something, maybe? Friend zoned. Oh, some genuine friendship. So the glasses guy is to her what Kou is to Nazuna. Kinda sorta. Yeah, just friends. She never wanted that to develop into anything more. Just casually introducing themselves. Too Kou. Okay. Okay, I see what we're doing here. I see what we're doing. I love those little gestures. Okay, so essentially he fell in love and she didn't want that. Basically, she wanted a friend, not a lover, not offspring. Yeah, that's a good question, actually. True. Vampires in general seem very hard to deal with. Nobody cares. But I want to be that exception. But sometimes it just about does. You don't have to. Join the gang. Join Nazuna's gang. of friendly vampires. Friendly neighborhood vampires. Okay, that's straightforward. If he becomes a vampire, they can be friends very easily. I guess that's a way out. Yeah, yeah, that has to suck. Literally and figuratively. Yes. Dinner time. I expected the change to a vampire to be a little bit more dramatic. No need for glasses anymore. A group of friends to hang around with. I think I see where we're going for with this series. Uh, one by not quite episodic, but Kou and his presence is gonna keep shaking up the status quo of the vampire world. That's the vibe I'm getting. Right? First it was the Gyaru who didn't want to, who was tired of always going for romance and having to create offspring, never having like time or opportunity even to have friends, just plain friends, without the desire to sometime in the future turn them into offspring or whatever. And Ko's presence solved that issue. I'm assuming the other vampires also have similar issues. And I'm assuming Ko will be the force that will help them solve those issues, or at least alleviate them. That's the vibe I'm getting. I might be completely off base here. Absolutely. But on the off chance I'm not, it's gonna be cool. And that's Stinging Nettle and Mango. Very interesting combination. I don't think there's anything after credits here. There's nothing. Yeah. Yeah. Let me stop the timer real quick. And how about we go through this episode again? Shall we? This was a very single-threaded episode, which is interesting. Usually, episodes of Yofukashi no Uta are structured in a way where there is a story, then there is the midpoint, those two like cards, eye catchers, and then there's some other story. Usually, there's two stories per episode. This time around, it was just a single one, which is interesting. Yeah, it's a drag when it starts happening. I'm not feeling it anymore. That's what she's going through. She's never essentially the issue is she's never known relationship other than romantic, basically. Because as a vampire, she lives thanks to romance, and that's no exaggeration, right? She can create offspring thanks to romance. She can feed thanks to flirting with people and dragging them into some dark alleyway and sucking their blood. That's how vampires operate. But she doesn't want to do that. Or rather, she doesn't want to do only that. She wants to have a friendship. She wants to have something like what Kou and Nazuna have. A little bit of jealousy, a little bit of being bored by status quo, perhaps even a little bit of being disillusioned with what being a vampire constitutes. I'm assuming she used to be a normal human as well, way back whenever she was turned into a vampire. So she might have some memories of that time when she actually had friends, she actually had relationships that weren't of the romantic nature. Yeah, interesting, cool. I like that she's not just a single dimensional character. You'd think she might be, but she turns out to not be. Also interesting that this scream is animated on once. On every frame something happens, the lines wobble just a little bit. Ah, right. The kick. The kick. And slowly teeth gain definition. Nazuna Ex Machina. And right into the billboard thing. Yeah, truth is her face annoys me. I like that we're getting those like fun little moments spruced here and there. Yofukashi no Uta is a series that has very many different bits of themes, I guess you could say. What I mean is that you can have a completely serious scene, then something straight from a horror, then something purely comedic, then something very sensual, then another shot it turns into a comedy, then it turns into a thriller, right? Many jumps between many different genres. Not fully different genres, but many different moods. I guess that would be the better way to put it. I really do enjoy it about the series. There's never a dull moment. Right here, you have that very cartoonish scene of fighting with band-aids and thunderbolts flying around, and it's just a cloud of dust. Yeah. And then next moment, you have this shot. And yeah, of course she has some issue, and of course Kou is able to recognize it. This moment right here really, really made me start thinking that Kou might be the thing that kind of powers changes in the vampire society a little bit. That all of them are very like standoffish, very solitary. Yeah, as she said herself, she never had anybody to talk to about her problems. But here comes Cole, someone who knows of vampires' existence, isn't particularly afraid of them. No, he wants to become a vampire himself. Someone who doesn't have to be killed because he wants to become a vampire eventually. Very unusual being suddenly appears, and suddenly there is someone with an outside perspective willing to help and able to help. That's gonna shake up vampire society a lot. If not for Kou, she would have just killed Akun, whatever his full name is, she would have just killed him, dumped him in the ditch. She would have felt bad for like a week or so, and then she would distract herself by meeting other people and sucking their blood and turning them into offspring. And she'd go through the same cycle again because someone else um, would become obsessed with her, and the cycle repeats, and she would never be able to find that friendship that she was yearning for. But she would keep living because she's an immortal being, an immortal vampire. And that would suck. But thankfully, Koi is here. One thing you kind of have to wonder about: how many times has she gone through that? How many times has she found some friendship, partnership with a human, and then decided to just get rid of them because that was easier? How many times has that happened already? Right? We don't know exactly how many years each of them lives. I think someone somewhere said that Nazuna is like 40 something. She looks like a young adult, maybe even a teen, so I'm assuming she's been a vampire for like 20 odd years, turned into a vampire around 20-ish, then being a vampire for 20-ish, something around that. I wonder how long have the others been vampires. Yeah, I was lying, obviously. Really? Yeah, Cole sees right through her, as if she was an open book, completely and utterly. She was exasperated but said to do whatever. That's a very Nazuna thing to do. Yeah, it's a drag having to deal with all those popular guys. It has to be. And the change in shading, the change in art style, amazing. And initially, I didn't quite get her change in art style, but now I do get it. Ko mentions, I get annoyed at people who think romance is the essence of life. She gets annoyed with that as well. Problem is, she is such a person. Through her very nature of being a vampire, she has to be such a person. She doesn't want to, but she has to be. That's what this look, that's what this face tells me. Initially, I took it as her thinking that, oh, maybe Kou would be able to understand me, maybe this, maybe something, right? Those kinds of thoughts going through her mind. But no, what's going through her mind is, yeah, he talks about me, but I don't want to be like that. I want to change, but I cannot change. I cannot be any different because I don't know any different. And vampires aren't any different. Vampires cannot be different. Vampires cannot have friendship. Vampires only have love and lust at their disposal. And the love is only a tool for creating offspring. And the lust is merely a bait. Yeah, I understand her character now. I fully do understand her character. And one more very interesting thing, it would be very easy to make her, the Josh Kosei Gyare, be that very light-hearted, very easygoing character here, and have literally anybody else have issues like that. But no, it's her. It's just a little bit of a subversion, a little bit of a play on the trope of a Gyaru Josh Kosei. Right? She's not supposed to be so serious about those things, and yet she is. Interesting. Interesting and cool. We are really getting very deep into the psychological side of the show. It started as a comedy with vibes, and it's turning into so much more. It gets so much deeper. I was afraid initially of introducing multiple characters, of introducing more characters in general. I thought Akira, okay, Akira, cool. She creates a nice little bit of duality, right? There is Nazuna who represents the night. There is Akira who represents the day. In between them, there is Kou. Nice little symbolism. Nice little uh, like dragging Kou in two different directions, right? Nazuna grabs one hand and drags Kou towards the night. Akira grabs the other, drags him towards the day, and he's torn between those two sides. That was my initial impression. But it turns out to not be that easy. Because Akira herself doesn't necessarily drag Kou towards the day. She wants to understand, she tries to understand, and she also feels just a little bit of the call of the night. Then the other dude appeared. Well, before that, the whole cast of vampires. Before that, the office lady appeared, and I thought it might turn into something episodic where Kou is helping people feel the call of the night, but that was subverted because she went to work in the end anyway. She wasn't just magically rescued. And we now introduce another cast member. Will she be a permanent addition or will she be only episodic, the way, for example, Akira is? The only two constants being Kou and Nazuna. Whichever way it goes, I have full trust by now. Honestly, I have full trust that they're gonna do it well, that they're gonna do well by me. I haven't been disappointed by this show yet. Not once. Not for a split second. And yeah, she's correct. I can just kill them if it gets too messy. This is interesting. My attention went directly towards it, not towards her ass. Although, I guess, kinda. Towards the lack of a panty shot. Like, this is a perfect opportunity for a panty shot, isn't it? And yet it's not here. I wonder if all those situations actually were panty shots in the original manga. Or was the manga also not going there because there is no need, because it doesn't necessarily fit the atmosphere, right? When it's time to be lewd, this series can be lewd, but when it's time to talk about feelings and talk about issues, there is no need for a panty shot. It will only detract from the scene. It will only subvert people's attention. Why? It's unnecessary. And yeah, Kou is very... He's very much not only having issues understanding love, but having issues understanding relationships and like people, life in general. He's extremely stoic. Again, to an extreme. Even here, like you think, even me, an introvert who would rather stay whole day at home and maybe go out for a walk once a week, if I were in a karaoke situation, I'd be at least, I don't know, paying attention, clapping when the other person is done something, anything, because those are like the things that the society at large expects you to do. Clapping, for example, right? Someone finishes their performance, whether you liked it or not, whether it was good or not, you clap. That's how it works. If you really liked it, you cheer, you pump your fist in the air, you scream a little. Kou doesn't have that. He doesn't have those, like, he doesn't read those societal clues. He doesn't have any clue in the first place about how things work. Very, I don't want to call it sociopathic, because it immediately brings very negative connotations. And Kou is also very selfless. He's not selfish, so that doesn't fit sociopathy. But there is something about him. Maybe he's just autistic. Maybe something like that. I don't want to give a diagnosis right here, right now, and I don't want to like immediately call everybody some sort of autistic, ADHD, split personality, and 7 types of OCD at once, right? I don't have TikTok, so I don't have to think of whatever mental illnesses I can collect like it's fucking Pokemon, like people on TikTok do. So I don't want to give him any diagnosis, but there's something, there's more wrong, wrong about him than just not getting a laugh. It's more about emotions and society as a whole, I have a feeling. And he's just searching for songs. And very matter of factly, how can I chime in when I don't even know this song? It's a karaoke. Karaoke. The lyrics are on the display. Like, help her sing the chorus. Or again, at least clap, at least cheer. Something. Clap to the rhythm. Stomp your foot a little bit to the rhythm. Something, some action. There's nothing. He just very matter of factly picks a song, sings it, goes through the motions, right? What do you do at a karaoke? You pick a song and you sing it. That's the only things you do. So those are the things that Kou is going through. He doesn't know all the doesn't understand all the things that surround it. That it's not supposed to be just singing, it's supposed to be a party. You're supposed to order a couple of bags of chips, you're supposed to order some drinks, and you're supposed to have fun. It's not a singing competition. It's supposed to be fun. Kou doesn't get it. It's like the song right now. Haven't been watching TV lately, so I don't really know. You brag about not watching TV? Yeah, is it something to brag about? Isn't that like the default state? Yeah, not watching TV is exactly. Stop with your uber innocent reactions. And we completely skip over Kou's song. I wanted to hear it, but I guess, alas, we weren't given the chance. And it was a super old song. But what if it's super old? He likes it. Isn't that what matters for which songs you like or not? Are you supposed to only know of the newest hits? Are you supposed to only like the newest songs? No. You can't exactly control what you like. I personally uh, feel well, in my opinion, to my tastes, many of the newer songs and like super new songs are borderline abhorrent, with auto-tune vocals that repeat like 3 words over and over again, and there's essentially more work put into the song by whoever played the I want to say played the instruments, but probably downloaded some samples from the internet, mixed them, and then the vocalist recorded like 3 words, and the words were mixed into the song, and that's apparently a smash hit nowadays. I don't get it. I find it abhorrent. I find it completely going contrary to what songs are supposed to be about, in my mind. I prefer songs that actually tell some story. Songs that actually let me, like, close my eyes and imagine the events that the song talks about, right? But again, that's only my tastes. But I can fully understand Kou and his stance here. I like it. I never heard the newer songs. I don't really like the newer songs. I like this old song. And that's that. And here's the horror moment. Well, not quite yet. Horror moment soon. Not yet. No, I think I skipped it. And another thing, she heard that old song and, hey, it's cool actually. I wanna hear more. Maybe I like those old songs as well. Maybe they're worth listening to. Maybe I don't need to stay on top of the charts and listening to whatever's popular. Maybe I can listen to things that I actually like instead of listening to things that are expected of me. I think there was a little bit of an impact frame here. Oh, kinda. Crazy popular. It happens quite a lot, guys turn into mental psychos. Mehera. I remember this word. I understand this word, mostly in the context of like VTubers. I don't think you can say that these days. I guess is menhera like a derogatory term in Japan, something not politically correct or something like that? I don't know. I'm not sure. Guys who are complicated or insecure are only cute in manga and stuff. Yeah, I can fix him. Doesn't really work in reality. It really doesn't. You'd be surprised at how many people have that notion of, yeah, I can fix him. Serial killers have their own groupies, who are groupies and fans of that serial killer, precisely because all of them think, I can fix him. He's kind of cute. He's kind of handsome. If I can somehow get him to stop killing people, we'd be happy together. Doesn't work that way. You see Menhera, you fucking run. Dragos. And yeah, all that's needed is just a little bit of attention, apparently. Just love and brush it aside. That's all I want. That's what she's been doing all this time, hasn't she? She hasn't been taking any of her issues seriously. She's been just brushing them aside and laughing. And that's it. She wants a friend. She can't have a friend in a human. She kills that human. She laughs and brushes it aside. Problem is, when it comes to issues like psychological, mental, emotional issues, you can't just brush them aside. You think you brush them aside, but what you really do is you're sweeping them under the rug that is still inside of you. And eventually, that rug turns into a mound, and you can no longer ignore it. And you peel the rug off, and all those issues, they are still there. And now, instead of having to work through one thing and cry through it, laugh through it, despair through it, it's all of them. Not great. And if she's been alive for longer than a normal human time span, I can see those issues compounding even further. Again, another opportunity for a panty shot, but not. Solution's really simple. I kill him. I can just kill them if it gets too messy. I wonder what the deal is with the change in color palette here. Especially since everything around the whole room is pink and purple, and she is pink and purple. The poster and no, that's another poster. I thought it's like a window, but no, it's a poster. A poster and Kou are green. Feeling out of place in this world, not belonging. You don't actually give a damn when other people die. She's correct. And Kou is also correct. And the two things in this scene that I really do like. One, it's not a situation where one side is clearly correct and the other is clearly wrong, and one side can be proven to be incorrect and change their ways. No. Kou is correct in saying you shouldn't just kill random people, there are other ways. And she is correct in saying humans don't give a fuck about people dying unless it's like their close ones. Humans are a feed to vampires. Both of those statements, Kou's statements, Kou's thoughts, and her thoughts, are true at the same time. Nobody's wrong here. And yet we have those like two sides that are kind of battling together. Another thing, I really do like Kou's reaction. Very, again, down to earth, very realistic. Normally you'd have the main protagonist of a shonen series or whatever say like, no, you shouldn't be killing people is bad and inexcusable. Kou isn't like that. Kou understands that I never said you can't kill anyone, right? I'm sure you have to sometimes. What do I know? I've never been in a situation where I would have to kill someone, but I'm certain there are situations like that, so I'm not gonna tell you to never kill anybody, because, again, I have no right to speak about it. But this situation, that doesn't call for a killing. That calls for talking it out, figuring out what the deal is, figuring out some solution. If that doesn't work, sure, smack him upside the head, rip his arms off, whatever you want to do. But let's try something less drastic right now, right? And yeah, his eyes tell me he can't be reasoned with. Easiest way is to kill him quickly and forget about it all. She's not incorrect here, of course. And we're running. I have mixed feelings about this dude. I gotta admit, I have mixed feelings. Sure, he's been, like, maybe not led astray by the Gyaru vampire, but he can't help falling in love and having feelings and whatnot. Sure, absolutely. I understand it. It might be not what she wants. She wants just friendship and doesn't want a relationship, romantic. He does. There's a disparity here. Sure. None of that is his fault. His obsessiveness, though, that doesn't sit well with me. Him being a stalker, his crazy eyes. Many times when he's stalking here, he's acting as if he's about to pull out a box cutter and just slit Kou's throat. Right? Those are the vibes I'm getting from him. So it feels kinda weird, kinda odd, kinda doesn't sit well with me how he's not as much redeemed by the end, but rather treated as not needing redemption. Right? We can brush all those issues completely aside. Your obsessive personality, the way you were acting, we can just forget about it all. You're a vampire now, and we're friends. But are we, though? Is that gonna completely remove his feelings? No. He will still be in love with the Gyaru, and she will still only want friendship. So we still have a disparity. We still have a situation where neither side can get what they want, except now they're both vampires, and that's somehow supposed to help? That doesn't sit well with me. How we're completely brushing off the issues, seemingly. And yeah, Kou the therapist. And of course, it started with the smallest gesture of goodwill, essentially. Just willing to hear him out, helping him, spending a little bit of time with him. She probably just spoke to me because I get drunk and tripped. She just felt sorry for me. Yeah, probably. When Seri-chan acted like she was flirting to tease me, it made me happy. We're entering the realm of like real life issues here a little bit. If we weren't in that realm already, essentially, thing is, men are so incredibly starved for affection that any simple gesture of goodwill is very often taken as an attempt at flirting. That's a fact. Men are always brought up to be very stern, very stoic, right? Don't cry, don't show emotions. I don't know, cuddling with your homies on the couch is gay, and being gay is somehow bad, right? Those kinds of things are embedded in men. Meanwhile, you have women, girls having sleepovers, having fun, casually sitting in each other's laps. I don't know, braiding each other's hair, stuff like that, right? Imagine if I asked one of my friends, one of my male friends, to braid my hair. I can only imagine the reaction. And it's not because, I don't know, they're unfriendly to me. They don't like spending time with me. They're grossed out by touching my hair or whatever. No, it's because physical contact isn't something that men are allowed to have by society. Essentially, that's the issue, right? And I think we're kind of encroaching on that territory here. When she was acting like she was flirting, was she, or was she just giving you the bare modicum of affection, right? Helping you up, that already can be seen as affection. Willing to sit down with you at some McDonald's and have a meal, why would she do that? Is she into me? Is it a love at first sight? Why would she agree to do that, right? Those are the thoughts that go through your mind when something like that happens. I know that's what I would be thinking. No joke. Absolutely. If I tripped, a girl approached me, helped me up, and said, "Hey, let's go to the nearest McDonald's and talk a little bit," I'd be like, "What the fuck does she want from me? Do I know her? Do I know you from like, I don't know, primary school, and I can't recognize you? Are you a friend of a friend or something? No, you're a completely person that I don't know, and you don't know me. Why would she be approaching me?" Again, is it love at first sight? Does she want something from me? Is it a scam? Those thoughts. Not the thoughts that it's just being human, helping another person up. Because men don't have that. Don't have that barest modicum of attention, of affection. So I can relate to him. I can see how he can take the friendliness that she's showing because she just wants to be friends and she's being friendly. Why he takes that as romantic interest. Because if any modicum of attention can be taken as flirting, then being friendly, who boy buy a motherfucking ring because she's a keeper? That's the thought. And that's why he misunderstood it. Even more so if he's been dumped recently. And yeah, his obsessive personality comes in. I don't care where I rank, as long as I rank somewhere. Even if I'm at the very bottom of the barrel, I want to see her. I want to be with her. Thinking about her. Who's she with now? Where is she? What's she doing? Sending messages obsessively. He's not taking this relationship in a healthy way, whatever that relationship is. And I'm not a fan of how we're brushing that off completely. How somehow turning him into a vampire is supposed to solve the issue. Yeah, I look for humans who might fall in love with me to create offspring. Indeed. Thankfully, Kou has the transmitter, transponder, whatever you want to call it, and was able to really quickly call for help. And Kou is using himself as a shield to a degree. That's also cool. He's confident that Nazuna is gonna help him. Nazuna wouldn't help the Drago dude. Why would she? But if it's Kou who's at stake, oh, you bet that Nazuna is going to appear out of nowhere and stop the rampage. With the little light smear, amazing. More light smears. This is interesting. Why did you decide you're gonna kill for once? So she never killed. She hasn't killed anybody yet. So perhaps Mr. Glasses is special in some way. And he is. He's a friend. Yeah, I never intended to turn him into offspring, just hang around with him sometimes. Yeah, vampires approach humans to make more offspring. That's the goal. But I don't want that. I don't want all my interactions with other people to be solely about offspring and feeding and romance and love. It gets boring, it gets stale, it gets annoying. There are other forms of closeness with people, and I yearn for those forms. I yearn for a platonic relationship. Yeah. That's another part of the issue. Who could I possibly talk to about that? Right? All the other vampires are all about the grind, are all about this life, are all about using love and using romance to create more offspring. Nobody can relate to her issues as far as she's concerned. Perhaps there are actually other vampires who can relate, but everybody has the same thoughts of, I'm a vampire, I'm supposed to be doing that. I can't exactly talk to another vampires about not wanting to continue that, because at best they will laugh at me, at worst they will just kill me because I'm useless and I'm a danger. So that's the biggest issue that she's having here, essentially. Yeah, I'm tired of having romance be a part of every human interaction I have. But I don't know how to communicate like an ordinary friend. That's another issue. Subconsciously, she's flirting. Because any interaction she ever had with a human was about that, was about romance, was about creating offspring, was about drinking blood. She doesn't know what friendship consists of. So she defaults to the kind of communication that she knows best. And yeah, she's not gonna do anything more. Okay, let her go. I love those little tiny gestures. His facial expression doesn't change in the slightest. He's just. I love it. I love those little moments. Yeah, let's stop seeing each other. That's the best option. Or is it? Or is it? Yeah, what do you want to do? Not what do you feel you're obliged to do. What do you want to do? And a little bit of comedy, because it was a very tense moment and we're not unloading, we're I guess you could say we're unloading the atmosphere with a bit of comedic bits. But there's also some seriousness pushed into it. Yeah, at least talk through it. Yeah, they are doing the whole vampire human friend thing, but friendship with humans just doesn't work. Apparently, supposedly, but you were friends, weren't you? It seems this way to me, at least. But she doesn't see it this way. And she doesn't want to see it this way. She doesn't want to quit being friends. Problem is, he fell in love. That continues being an issue. Make me into your offspring, sure, but it continues being an issue that she wants a friend and he wants a girlfriend. It's incompatible. It remains incompatible. So I fail to see how turning him into an offspring is supposed to solve matters. I mean, it's supposed to solve the matter of just not having to kill him. If he's a vampire, he's one of us. She doesn't have to kill him. But it doesn't solve the thing with friends versus partners versus a couple. They have very different expectations of the relationship. And of course, Nazuna, the cheeky brat, needs correction, knows exactly what Kou is thinking, because it's obvious. What Seri and Akun had was super simple, right? He fell in love instantly and he wants to be an offspring. Snap! He's an offspring. He's a vampire now. It's not that easy for Kou. Interesting bit is I expected turning into an offspring to be a bit more dramatic. I expected some, I don't know, close up on the fangs growing or something, anything, but she just bit him and he's just fine. Nothing really changed much. Except the fact that he apparently doesn't need glasses now. You know, this is kind of fun. It is. It is. Hanging out with a group of friends is very much fun indeed. A romantic flight. And that's the end. That's the episode. I wanted to check one thing that I don't remember if I already checked or not, but just to make sure. A couple of VAs. Annulist Yofukashi no Uta. I wanna check Seri's voice actor, voice actress, and I wanna check the glasses dude voice actor because I don't think we've seen those yet. Where are they? Seri, Haruka Tomatsu. Haruka Tomatsu also voiced Asuna in SAO, M4A1 in those frontline. Who else? M4A1 again, M4A1 again, and I don't recognize any other characters here. Rumika in Danberu Nankiro Moteru, Pipimi again, who hasn't voiced Pipimi, Aikawaren in Miru Thais, Zero Two in Darling in the Franxx. That's a character I recognize. Mary Sue in Yojo Senki. And Pina Colada in Gate. That's another character I finally recognize. Rabura in Punchline. Nashiro in Tokyo Ghoul. Square Root A or Root A or whatever you want to call it. Asuna in SAO. That's that I already mentioned. Anybody else that catches my attention that I would recognize? We are at 2011. Hitoha in Mitsudomoe, Yuka Hanazawa in Beelzebub. Watch Beelzebub, amazing series by the way. More Mitsudomoe. And someone in Ladies vs. Battlers, Hedie. I don't remember her from Ladies vs. Battlers, although to be fair, it's been a while since I've seen it. And Akihito Akiyama, the glasses dude, who was voiced by Hiroyuki Yoshino. Hiroyuki Yoshino, who also voiced Frankie Franklin in Spy Family, and also voices Ethan in Arknights. I knew the voice is familiar. Frankie and Ethan, those are voices you can't easily forget. Who else? Someone in Shirobako the movie, Taro Takanashi. Haven't seen Shirobako the movie. I don't think I finished watching Shirobako the series. Suenaga, the police officer in Zombieland Saga. Yeah, many characters that very much do share this voice. Anybody else I would recognize? I don't think so. Oh, in Muta in Kill La Kill, that's a surprise. That doesn't sound like him, but that's cool. That means the dude has a little bit of a range. Tanegashima in Medaka Box. I don't think I finished watching Medaka Box. Brief in Panty and Stockings. Would you look at that? Panty Stockings Season 2 coming out soon-ish. Sometime in the future, at least. So I'm looking very much forward to that. Solve J. Kimbley in Full Metal Alchemist. And that should just about do it. Yeah. Okay. That was episode 9 of Yofukashi no Uta. And I think I have a decent read on where we're going with this series, more or less. Meaning, I think we're going in the direction of Kou being that disruptive force, that positive disruptive force to the society of vampires. One such disruption is his very friendship with Nazuna. Another, although Nazuna herself is very much a disruption, but when it comes to that tightly knit normal vampire society, who Nazuna doesn't really belong to, Kou is very much causing ripples. The fact that Seri now has a validation, essentially, that friendship can work, and that she was able to go forward with her desire to have a relationship not based on romance. That's very much a disruption to the status quo, to how the vampires were operating so far. And I'm wondering if we're gonna go through the other members of the vampire clique, and if they may have similar issues or completely different issues that Kou will again be able to help them with. That'd be cool, not gonna lie. I don't think it would get formulaic. Maybe eventually. Maybe we can do something like help one or two more members of the vampire group, and then the rest notices that something's shaking up the status quo and they move out to stop that. But haha, you're late because Kou now has a whole harem of vampire ladies prepared to defend him. And it's kind of a civil war, right? We should stay the way we are. No, we should change our ways. And two looks, two opinions on how vampires should progress as a species and as a society, and as a society within the society of humans. Two views of that will be clashing. That's my prediction of where it can go. One thing for sure, we're gonna continue with psychological themes, deeper, shallower, but psychological nonetheless. Everything essentially so far has a psychological root and a psychological solution to it. There hasn't been any arc or a sub arc or whatever that would take root in, I don't know, physical scuffle and would be solved by an all-out battle or anything like that. It might come in the future, who knows? This series surprised me not once, not twice, so I'm prepared for that, for it to surprise me many a time in the future. But yeah, far as I can tell, we're going very much for that, like very human, very introspective um, topics. What it means to be a friend, what it means to be in a relationship, how can you act upon your wants when society rejects them outright, those kinds of themes around psychology, about around society, around personality, relationships, all those threads we're gonna slowly unravel. At this point, I'm honestly wondering if Ko is even gonna become a vampire eventually. Or are we gonna go for an ending where Ko hasn't become a vampire, but it doesn't matter because things are still good? Because the vampires no longer have the desire to hunt him, because he can still be friends with Nazuna, because they can still hang around at night. Essentially, a good ending, which isn't an ending that we were aiming from the start, but a good ending nonetheless. I wonder if they might go for a little bit of a subversion like that. Or they could subvert our expectations in a completely different way and turn Ko into a vampire in like the next episode. Probably not, but sometime soon-ish, and then have the series continue, perhaps in the manga form. Continue when Ko is already a vampire, and maybe there is a battle of vampires versus werewolves or whatever. Again, wouldn't surprise me if we got into the themes of why are vampires and werewolves fighting in the first place? How can we solve it without a scuffle, without battle, right? Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me whatsoever. Oh, there's Yofukashi no Uta Mini, I just noticed in Google. Mini animations posted on the Yofukashi no Uta Twitter account. Cool, cool. I might want to check that out eventually. Not now, of course. How long is it? I don't know. Nothing says how long they are. Probably a few seconds long. Okay. Anyway, I think that's gonna be it. I think I don't have to anything more to say, but maybe you do. And if you do have something to say, in the comments down below, tell me what you thought of this episode, my reaction, my theories. No spoilers, please. I know there is a source material, and if you're familiar with it, don't spoil me things unless it's something that the series omitted. Maybe Ko's song actually was there in the manga and it was relevant somehow or something like that. Clarifications, cool. Spoilers, not cool. That's the rule of thumb. If you want to talk spoilers, Discord here, also in the description. Join it, talk spoilers there in the Yofukashi no Uta channel. Use spoiler tags, you know what to do. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it, but tell me why so I can improve. Subscribe to the channel to be notified of future releases of not only Yofukashi no Uta, but also Symphogear GX, Madoka Magica, Overlord Season 4, Hataraku Mao-sama Season 2, and the Ruby Ice Queendom. And I also stream sometimes, and I also sometimes play Disco Elysium, so come hang out on streams and be notified of games, click the bell, all that jazz. Support the channel, please, if you want, on Patreon or thrown monetarily on Patreon for $10 a month to get early access to non-seasonals like Madoka, like Symphogear. For just $1 you get a role on the Discord, and you also get a place in the credits, and there are also other tiers to pick from. On Throne, you can pitch in towards my purchase of a proper camera, better lighting, stuff like that. And if you don't want to spend your precious money whatsoever, you can still help the channel by sharing my content, spreading the word. The more people know about my stuff, the more people come in, and the bigger the channel grows, and maybe some of them will become patrons soon, and maybe I'm gonna be able to live off my YouTube channel eventually, like 3 years into the future. We'll see about that. Man can hope, right? Man can hope. But yeah, that's gonna be it from me for today. So as always, you guys do all the good stuff, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. Cheers! And here's the credits I mentioned. You can be one of those people if only you so want.